Hey everybody, Bob Paskins here. Let's get ready for another 2-minute motivational drill. This week, the theme is breaking out of the box. Now, I use that because this hits me personally. One of the sayings that I love to say, and my wife will back it up, is don't ever put me in that box. And what I basically mean by that is don't make the assumption that you will know my reaction to a particular situation or a particular person. Now, sometimes we do this frequently. We might say, you know what, I don't think so-and-so and so-and-so would get along, so I wouldn't put them together. Or, really, I didn't think you would like that, so I didn't invite you. Or, I didn't know you'd like that food or not, so we didn't want to try that. To me, that's very limited thinking because it limits both parties. It limits the person first who is making the assumption, but it also limits the person who is described in the behavior. So again, do not put people in their box. Now, I have a story about this because back in college, I was on a club soccer team, and this is in Santa Barbara, California. Now, the reason they wanted me on the team was, again, I ran track, which means I could generally get to the ball before anyone else could. The problem is, once I got to the ball, I really had no skill to be able to do anything with it. But sure enough, they loved me on defense because all they'd asked me to do was race to the ball, kick it, and then kick it out of bounds so that it would stop the momentum of the other team. And I was able to do that. Now, down in Santa Barbara, we played a lot of teams which are just full of Hispanics. And they would look at us, and basically what they would do is they would see a team full of white guys, or gringos, of course, as they call them, and they would kind of start to snigger. And then they would start speaking Spanish. You see, that was one of their key strategic elements, was the fact that they knew Spanish and could speak that language and communicate, and we may not understand what they were trying to do. Well, one of our kids on the team, his name was Paul. And Paul, he was a good Irishman. I mean, he was about 6'2", had red hair, freckles all over, as pale as can be. If you can think of the Ron Howard character of Richie Cunningham, you basically have an idea of what Paul was like. But Paul would go out on the soccer field or soccer pitch and end up dominating the game. And it would just drive, especially the other team of Hispanic players, crazy because he always seemed that he was one step ahead or one step quicker or everything going on. And they would just discuss it, what's going on, and we gotta, work with him and gringo this and that, and then I always point at Paul. Well, at the end of the game, and what they didn't realize was that Paul was a missionary kid. And he spent several years in Central America working as a missionary. So he knew Spanish fluently. Now, he would never say that to them because it would take their advantage away. But sure enough, usually toward the end of the game, especially if we were winning, they would be communicating back and forth, and boom, he would say something in perfect Spanish to them. And you would just see their eyes just lighten up because they, at that point, realized Paul knew exactly what they were talking about through the entire game. Well, that's part of it. That's part of the don't put me in the box thinking, where they made the assumption about one of our players, which wasn't true, and actually cost them. So here's the drill. Big 3 things about not putting people in the box is, the first thing is you assume that you know that person, when truthfully you don't unless you are able to ask the questions or get to know them. Second, if you don't ask the questions, you could limit their potential. If you don't ask the question, you don't know what the reaction was going to be. You don't know if they're going to be good at something, if they're going to like this person, if they're going to like that food, if they would say yes to your opportunity. You don't know that because you failed to ask. And then the third part goes right along with the other two. There's a good chance because you put that person in the box that you are going to miss out on a golden opportunity for a new adventure, a new business partner, a new client, whatever. So that's my encouragement for you. Don't put people in the box. Don't make those assumptions. I think you'll find that your eyes will be opened just like those Hispanic soccer players were back in Santa Barbara. Thanks very much for watching. This is Bob Paskins for the 2-minute motivational drill, encouraging you to engage in light, to let your light shine, and to be a champ. Thanks, everyone.